Laura, you okay with attendance? Okay. I will entertain a motion to accept the school board meeting minutes from January 22nd, 2026.
Seconded.
Any omissions, additions, subtractions? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? No. Motion carries. Public comments. You will have 3 minutes. Please address all your comments to the chair. I have Ash
Nichols. Oh,
Moody.
sorry.
Ash Moody.
Oh, hi. I would like to speak out about the fact that you guys are cutting esports for next year. I would like to point out that we... Hello? Okay. I would like to speak out about the fact that you guys are cutting esports for next year. At the last school board meeting, you were told that we had 6 players, when in reality, we actually have 7. We have gained 1 more member since the numbers were given to Plord. We have 4 students that are not graduating and 3 that are graduating. I would also like to point out that the school only pays our coach, Gath, and $40 for our equipment. I would like to point out that we have 4 teams this year. We have 1 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate team and 2 Super Smash Bros. Solos, and then we have 1 Mario Kart team. I would also like to say that at least one of our teams for the last couple years have made playoffs. This year, we have at least 2 teams that are going to make playoffs. I would also like to point out that we have 2 seasons. Why not cut it down to 1? That's all.
Ellen Gramblatt.
Good evening, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak. I appreciate the hard work that has gone into crafting the budget. It's often said that a budget is a statement of values. In that spirit, I would like to make note of the large cuts to library books and the ed tech position in the library. There are many unspecified instructional cuts that may impact learning, whether in the library or in the classroom. There's also the combining of the GT position with the ESL position, 2 very different instructional domains. I'm concerned that these budget cuts undermine the core purpose of the school, which is to provide academic instruction and support. The purpose of the library ed tech position is to free the librarian to directly help students access library resources, learn to research, identify misinformation, etc. I cannot imagine a school system that does not have robust library services, and I urge the board to reinstate those cuts. It was noted last week that the school district has been unable to attract a person for the GT position. Perhaps this deserves some scrutiny. Why has it been so difficult? Students who qualify for GT services, who need these services, should not be denied them. Last, I note that not every board member was present last week. I believe that budget deliberations require the presence of everyone on this board. Members were elected to serve the public and should show up for their responsibilities unless severe extenuating circumstances exist. Thank you.
Student reps, do you have something for us tonight?
Yes, I do. So, good evening. I'd like to update the board on several important things happening here at Spruce Mountain High School, as we've had a big week for our winter athletic programs. Our girls wrestling team will be competing in the state championship at Belfast High School on February 17th. Our Nordic ski team has also qualified for the state championship and will be traveling to Fort Kent to compete on Monday, February 16th, and the 17th. Both of our boys and girls basketball teams have advanced to the regional tournament to play at the Augusta Civic Center. The boys will play. The boys will play on Monday at 8:30 p.m. And then if they win that game, they will continue to progress throughout the tournament. Our Alpine ski team has also qualified in the state championships, which will take place on the 23rd and 24th at Black Mountain in Rumford. Times are still to be announced. I'd like to recognize our cheering team, which competed at the Class B championship this past Saturday, and our boys wrestling team, which competed in the regional finals. Both teams represented Spruce Mountain very well. In addition, I'd like to share an academic update. On this past Tuesday, 12 members were inducted into the Spruce Mountain High School National Honor Society chapter. This is a significant accomplishment and a testament to their service, character, and leadership. Overall, it's an exciting time for both our athletic programs and academic programs, and it's great to have so many Spruce Mountain High School students representing us at such a high level.
Thank you, Mason. Any questions for Mason? No, thank you. Any other board comments? Andrew?
I'd just like to make a comment on Wayne Neal's presentation last week about the bleachers. It's come to my knowledge that the installation went well and everything, but one thing I hadn't known is how they dispose of the old bleachers. And what I found out is they got very well repurposed. They've used the lumber and the metal for the shop program here, which has saved them considerable money from having to buy lumber at retail or scrap metal for welding practice. And the instructor's very thrilled about that, and I guess they got some other projects possibly in mind for it too, but I thought that was very good that nothing went to waste on the old bleachers. Thank you.
Other board comments? Tanya?
Mason already said it as the student rep, but I did want to congratulate the students on being inducted into the National Honor Society. That's quite an accomplishment, so I wanted to make sure that the board acknowledged it.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the boys and girls basketball teams. I've had a chance to go to a few of the games. They've been very exciting and sitting on the edge of your seat. And also congratulations and good luck to all of our sports teams that are competing.
Our Nordic boys team, which won team means one skier. Sam Geisinger won the MVC out of all the schools represented. Did a great job. I'm sad, and I hope we can get some more interest, maybe through the fact that Spruce Mountain ski area itself, where a lot of kids, TJ, grew up, started racing and that kind of thing. I'd love to see, we have some great trails out there now, we have great skiing. It'd be great to see this sport get back again. I personally am following the Levitt team because I have a grandchild there. And I will be going to Fort Kent for 2 days. I really wish Sarah could get some colder temperatures up there. Oh, that'd be good. But Sam's had an outstanding season, and I really want to support those guys. And thanks so much, and hopefully we can get some more interest.
Work on that, Sarah, would you? Okay. Board comments? Phoebe?
We're approaching that time of year again for February vacation. And as always, I'm going to remind you guys to drive safely. Be very, very careful. There are buses filled with children, even during winter break, during this February vacation. Keep in mind, there are going to be children that are going to be in the vehicles around you. They're going to be doing different things, different activities, sports events, sledding, if the weather permits. So just please be very careful. We did see some kids, not on our hills, of course, but sled in their driveways, and they tend to rear into the road, so please be very, very cautious while driving. The other thing I would like to address is our teachers and our staff. I want to thank each of you for what you guys do. We couldn't be the school district we are without you. And often we forget about that. We get so excited about the holidays for our kids. We get so excited about these different things, these activities. We can't do those things without you. We see our teachers do sports as coaches. We see them encourage kids to pursue different activities, to expand their horizons. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being that inspiration for our kids. Thank you.
Any other board comments? Superintendent's report.
Okay, good evening. I got a chance to read to quite a few classes. I got to read to Mrs. Garrett's special ed class. I got to read Valentine books to Mrs. Butterfield's, Mrs. Talbot's, and Mrs. Cushman's kindergarten classes. And I also got to read a Valentine's book to Mrs. McPherson's second grade class. I also got to be involved in the Purple Fuzzy Cow science experiment with Mrs. Cuthbertson's second grade class. It was an experiment on solids, liquids, and gas, and it ended up being a tasty treat because it ended up being soda floats, so root beer floats, or in that case they had grape soda because it was purple, so purple floats. So it was fun. It was a great lesson for the kids, and it was a fun way to do it. So. I was also have attended 3 negotiation meetings, 2 with the Teamsters and 1 with the administrators. I did attend our policy meeting, and there'll be a couple policies later in the meeting to approve. And then I also attended the Western Maine Administrators Consortium, where we reviewed and accepted a final plan for recertification for one of our area administrators, and then we also reviewed and approved an initial plan for certification for one of our area administrators.
Questions for Scott? No. Okay. TJ?
Hi, everyone. Mason stole all my thunder. That's great, though. I'm so happy that he did that. We're pretty excited about this this basketball season, wrestling season, and I just want to draw attention to the hard work that those students, athletes have been doing, and this is the end of it, right? So this is where everybody wants to see us win. So if you're going to come out, be at the Civic Center, have fun. Again, this is the first time we've been at the Civic Center since I've been here, so it is really nice to have that. So get out and come see them. So enrollment, 418 at Spruce Mountain High School. We're up 1. I'm going to go through some of our discipline here. So remember last quarter I said we had 11 the whole quarter. We now have 12 for the first 4 weeks. And it is due to the cell phone thing that happened, but they're learning, right? We're going to get through this. I asked my staff today, what do they think, how's it going? And every single one of the staff members said, this is the right move. So we're going down it. We're going to work through this. It is a learning process. The Quarter 3 attendance, so the first 4 weeks, we were at 15%. We're up a little bit. We've had a lot of kids out with flu and COVID and things like that. I look forward to after vacation. If you remember, February break is for the flu. So back in the day when they first created this, it was all about the flu. So that's why we have it. And that's all I have because we've already talked about everything else.
Questions for TJ? Phoebe?
TJ, you're missing some of your thunder.
What's my thunder today?
So a group of your high school kids got together and they worked to bring animal supplies to the Farmington Animal Shelter.
Oh, wow.
And
not know about that.
they all did this on their own,
Yeah.
but that's a feather in your hat. Don't
Yeah,
forget it.
I want to find out who these students are, and I want to recognize them. So we'll find out later. Very good. Thank you.
Other questions for TJ? Thank you. Chris?
Good evening. The middle school right now has a current enrollment of 269, and our yearly attendance average is still holding at 94%. January 16th, we had our school-wide spelling bee with Abigail Fitch finishing first and Landon Biot finishing second. Tomorrow, February 13th, we have our annual Phoenix Time Derby race. So if you're around in the afternoon, stop by, check out for some really whole school excitement. February 27th is our next January Student of the Month of Phoenix Award Assembly. March 6th, we'll have a staff versus student basketball game in the afternoon. And then March 12th and 13th is the Spruce Mountain Middle School performance of Shrek Jr. In the evenings. And right now we've had 25 out-of-school suspensions for the year and 22 in school. Last year we had 36 out of school and 21 in school at this time. So, that's it.
Questions for Chris? Thank you. Patrick?
This had to be you. I figured. Good evening. So it's budget season, so I want to talk about money in a good way. So Donors Choose seems to be going well at the elementary school. So we had another Mr. Toner put in for Donors Choose and was awarded $1,100 so that he could buy a microphone system, a speaker system for the gym, and then he also got 24 new basketballs and a brand new parachute, which helps with our budget going forward. We had our first annual talent show at the elementary school, and it was awesome. We had 40 kids, 40 different acts between dancing, singing, jokes, impersonators. These kids got up with no fear and performed their little hearts out, and it was awesome. So we're definitely going to do that. We had one student was able to name all the countries in Africa under a minute. I was like, I know 4 of those. So I felt pretty smart that day. So we'll definitely do that again in the future. Tomorrow, I heard that I have 2 board members that are coming to the school with over 6,000 books. We're doing our second free book fair. So Phoebe and Elaine will be in, and we're doing our Fall into Love reading tomorrow, where kids will be able to come in and take, I think we figured, 10 books a piece or something like that? Up to 10 books per child to take home over vacation, take them for themselves, siblings, cousins, we don't care. You take a book, give it to whoever you want. So we have over 6,000 books available for the kids. School attendance now is 288, and the last time I was here was 282. So we've gone up 6.
Questions for Patrick? Michelle?
Just to thank you for hosting the talent show, because I think it is an opportunity to showcase the different and unique talents that kids may not know about each other and their peers. And my son definitely came home talking about it, and he did mention the one with the countries. He was pretty impressed.
Awesome.
So they're paying attention to one another, and I think it's wonderful to be able to appreciate different skill sets and strengths. So thank you.
So you should thank the PBIS committee, because they're the one who came up with it. And like I've said before, I just try to say yes for anything they ask. So it was all them.
Other questions? Elaine?
First of all, I've always thought that the best administrators are actually facilitators. They don't make the rules, they facilitate for the educators there. When they say, gee, do you think we can? The administrator finds the way to make it happen, because the teachers are wanting it for the kids. So I appreciate you being a facilitator in this. Secondly, Phoebe deserves all of the credit for finding sources to raise enough books. We have 288 students. Each of them gets to take 10 books. She has done all that. I am just doing lifting tomorrow. No big kudos here. Phoebe, thank you. And this is not the only year she's done this. She's done this for several years for our kids.
And she's already done it once this year.
And yes, and I'm just there to lift boxes. So Phoebe, thank you so much. Our kids appreciate.
Other questions for Patrick? No. Thank you. Darcy?
All right, so we are at, for enrollment, 324 students. We have a couple registering this week. I know I didn't give the breakdowns last time, so I will today. We have 55 pre-K, 104 kinder, 82 first graders, 83 second graders, for a total of 324. Exciting news, we are down from 16% chronic absenteeism to 4%. So huge, huge. And it's, like I say, like, it's kudos to the teachers, you know, they create that environment for these students. And I told them today at the staff meeting, like, thank you, because it's because of the work that they do with our kids that they want to be there every day, you know, and they just create that love, nurturing, safe environment. And it really is for them. And so, more good news, our behavior referrals are decreasing solidly every month. We went from having 400 in October down to 300 in November. We're down to 200, and now I'm down to 100 in February. And so it is the work, again, of all these systems that are in place. The Dean of Students works so hard to support staff in implementing a lot of Tier 2 interventions. And then, of course, we have that next layer of the social skills teacher working with these students, doing group work, and then we have the Tier 3 levels as well. And it really is, once we get those systems in place, they work. And so with PBIS and MindUp and those frameworks and curriculum, we're able to decrease our behaviors and more learning takes place. So that's fabulous. We completed our NUIA testing. We're still in the midst of STAR testing. Got a few to wrap up for tomorrow, but for our NUIA scores, the kindergarten stayed in the 62nd percentile for NUIAs in that area, and then first grade went from the 52nd to the 58th percentile, so they increased, and then grade 2 went from the 44th to the 46th, so they increased as well in their NUIA scores. So all around, we're doing a lot of celebrating at the primary school. Last week, we had our PBIS celebration, and we will be bringing it back next year. It was a huge success. It was Global Play Day. We played all day, and the kids just had a great time. So it's just kudos to the teachers for all of the work that they came together as teams to create that fun day of learning, because we know children learn through play. We're actually hoping to bring Playworks to our school. They were offering a free professional development day, so we're looking at scheduling that. The Outdoor Learning Committee is talking about that. They got a grant, so they are putting in an order soon for rain boots and gloves and all those things. Just get the kids outside even if it's raining, you know, it's just, they need to be out there. So, yeah, that's all I have.
That Global Day of Play was a big success. My niece came home and said, best day ever.
I heard that a lot.
Questions for Darcy? Lane?
Darcy, just clarification on the NUIAs, that's fall to now?
Yes.
Okay, so that's just in these this chunk, and those are really good numbers. Those are great improvements.
Yep.
I don't really have a question. I just want to say my son, he's in kindergarten, and he's in Mrs. Butterfield's class, and he loves her so much. And just about like the absenteeism thing, he does not like to wake up in the morning and go to school, but over Christmas vacation, he cried because he missed her so much. So that's just, the power of these teachers is, these kids miss them when they're on Christmas vacation of all things, And then also that play day, he could not stop raving about how much fun he had and all the different things and all the different stations and all the
Kindergarten
things.
rocked it.
Yeah, so, the teachers are doing amazing, you're doing amazing, so
Thank you.
I love it.
Other questions for Darcy? No. Thank you. Sherry?
So the play day was my first full day at the primary school, and I was exhausted by the end of the day. But the good news, there was not as many behaviors as I expected, so that would, the kids were really engaged in it, so that was great. Anyway, we currently have 344 students in special education. This is 9 less than my January report. This includes 24 open referrals, which is the same as my last report. I think we're pretty constant with, we'll find a kid eligible and then a new referral comes in. So we're stuck right there at 24. The primary school currently has 76 students with IEPs. That is 1 less, and there are 11 referrals in process. The elementary school has 85 students in special education. That's 1 less also, with 5 referrals in process. The middle school has 74 students, which is 2 less, with 4 referrals in place. And the high school currently has 109 students in special education. That's a decrease of 5, and there are 4 new referrals in place even at that level. We have 14 students at out-of-district placements in special purpose schools for day treatment programming. It's 3 primary school students, 2 elementary, 4 middle school, and 5 high school. This continues to be the same as my previous report. However, we did have 1 student move out of district, and then we just placed another student this week in a program. Current position updates. We have had 2 EdTech 3s within our district who are either waiting to receive their teacher certification in the mail, or they're finishing up their last class for their certification. So you'll be seeing their names very soon. Jenna has been spending her days every other day at the high school, mentoring the high school teacher. And although the primary teacher hasn't started yet, I've been spending partial days in that program. So the room will be ready, and are definitely ready for her after vacation. I'll continue to mentor that teacher as she transitions to her new position. We continue to have 3 EdTech 1 positions open at the high school. And I hope all of the teachers and ed techs have a wonderful vacation week. It is well earned.
Questions for Sherry? Michelle?
I don't know if you can answer this question. It's okay if you can't for confidentiality reasons, but are you able to give us an idea on the majority of the reasons for the out-of-school district placements, whether it's behavioral-based needs, or if it's a condition, a level of condition that can't be supported?
Yeah, 12 of them are due to severe behavior, and 2 are severe disability.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions for Sherry? Thank you. Okay, so the scholarship committee met, and the 2 winners of the Marsha and Louis Brown Scholarship are Paris House and Leah Burgess. Okay, on to policy. I will accept a motion for the first reading of policy GBO, family care leave. Seconded. Discussion.
The only thing that was changed in this policy was the 12-month period. We're trying to align it with a couple of our other policies, so it's a rolling 12-month period. So by law, we can make it any 12 months the way we want to do it. Like, you could have it July 1st to June 30th. But we found that it's better to do rolling, because then they have exactly a year before they can use that opportunity to take time off again if needed. So it just aligns with our other policies. That was the only thing changed in that policy.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. I will accept a motion for the second and final reading of policy BDB, Board Officers. Discussion.
There was no change from the first reading. We did bring it back to the policy committee, but there was no change made between the first and second reading.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. On to the budget review. Come on down. Wayne, Sherry, Wayne, Norma.
Is this on? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. I hate, oh, yeah.
Should be starting on page 18.
Page 18, line 386. Okay, Primary resource room. Line 386, there's one teacher and half of the special education social worker who works K to 5. Line 387, there's one ed tech in this line. The reduction is for the second ed tech who's paid through local entitlement federal funding. Line 388, substitutes for the teacher. We do not get a sub for the social worker. 389 is IEP building coordinator chair. They chair meetings, review paperwork, and this is a contractual stipend. 390 is benefits for the IEP coordinator. 391 is teacher benefits and half of the social work benefits. 392, benefits for one ed tech. The reduction in benefits is because of the federal funding to pay for the other ed tech. 393, teacher substitute benefits. 394, retirement for the IEP coordinator. 395 is teacher retirement as well as half of the social worker retirement. 396 is retirement for one ed tech. 397 is retirement for teacher subs. 398, professional development will be covered by the federal funding that we receive. 399, instructional supplies for the resource room as well as for the social worker. This is specific special education needs like flashcards, manipulatives for reading and math, fidgets, flexible seating, adaptive writing utensils, and other things of that sort. Line 400, classroom sets of books to align with the IEP goals for reading sight words, phonics, and other specific reading skills. And line 401 is dues and fees. This was removed because the current teacher doesn't need any dues and fees. And that's the resource.
Questions regarding the primary school resource?
Awesome. Primary self-contained, line 402, there's a salary for one teacher. Line 403, salaries for 6 ed techs in the program. The reduction is due to the transfer of one ed tech position to the elementary school. Line 404, substitute for the teacher. Line 405 is teacher benefits. Line 406 is benefits for all 6 of the ed techs. Line 407 is the benefits for the sub. Line 408 is teacher retirement. 409 is the ed tech retirement for the 6 ed techs. Line 410 is the substitute retirement. Line 411, contracted special education, includes board certified behavior analysts and an AAC specialist, which is Augmentative Alternative Communication Devices. We have a specialist that comes into district monthly. These are based on student needs as determined by their IEP. Line 412 is professional development that will be paid for by federal funding. Line 413, instructional supplies for life skills include materials to build communication books for some of our students with limited verbal skills. These are students that don't use the AAC devices. They use picture books instead. It's the start of their communication. Binders for discrete trial programming, spring scissors, and learning center supplies. Line 414, dues and fees in the Life Skills Program pays for the membership to Toby Dynavox for making the communication pictures with a program called Boardmaker.
Questions regarding primary self-contained? Okay.
Elementary school resource on line 415. There are salaries for 3 resource room teachers and the other half of the special education social worker. Line 416 is salaries for 4 ed techs. Line 417 are the substitutes for special education teachers, I believe. 418, IEP coordinator, same as in the primary school. She chairs meeting and reviews paperwork. It's a contractual stipend. Line 419, IEP coordinator benefits. Line 420, the benefits for 3 resource room teachers and half of the special education social worker. Line 421 are the benefits for 4 ed techs. Line 422, benefits for the special education subs. Line 423, IEP coordinator benefits. Line 424 is retirement for 3 resource room teachers and half the special education social worker. Line 425 is retirement for all 4 ed techs. Line 426 is for retirement for special education subs. Line 427 is professional development travel, and that's to pay for one of our district safety care trainers to attend her annual recertification. Line 428, instructional supplies include flexible seating options, standing desks, binders, folders for maintaining files and student work, classroom scissors, laminating sheets for special education materials. Line 429, core connection books to align with the corrective reading program used within the special education classrooms. And line 430, dues and fees. This covers the certification cards for those district staff members being recertified in safety care, which is our Chapter 33 restraint and seclusion, de-escalation, and physical management. It is $7 per staff member that is certified, and we currently have 75 people certified, so this is only a portion of it.
Questions regarding elementary resource?
Line elementary self-contained, line 431. 431 is self-contained teacher salary. Line 432, salaries for 7 ed techs. Line 433, special education substitute salaries. This year is higher due to having a long-term sub in an unfilled ed tech position. So the salary is accounted for in the salary line. We had the same scenario for part of last year as well. The position is now filled, so. Line 434, benefits for the self-contained teacher. Line 435, benefits for the 7 ed techs. Line 436, benefits for the subs. Line 437, teacher retirement. Line 438, ed tech retirement. Line 439, substitute retirement. Line 440, contracted special education services, again for the board certified behavior analyst and the AAC specialist based on student needs. Line 441, professional development will be covered by federal funding. Line 442, instructional supplies include safety care supplies, sensory and communication boards, supplies for communication books, groceries for cooking, file folders, adaptive writing, and coloring utensils. And line 443, dues and fees are not needed this year.
Questions regarding elementary self-contained?
Middle school resource, line 444, salaries for 3 resource room teachers. Line 445, salaries for 3 ed techs. Line 446, special education substitute salaries. Line 447, IEP Building Coordinator to chair meetings and review paperwork as a contractual stipend. Line 448, IEP Coordinator benefits. Line 449, benefits for 3 resource room teachers. Line 450, benefits for 3 ed techs. Line 451, benefits for special education substitutes. Line 452, retirement for the IEP coordinator. Line 453, retirement for 3 resource room teachers. Line 454, retirement for 3 ed techs. Line 455, retirement for special education subs. Line 456, professional development was moved to federal funding. Line 457, instructional supplies, including binders, class sets of headphones, individual whiteboards, and subscriptions to Scholastic News magazine. Line 458, books to replace tattered and worn copies, as well as to purchase a new classroom set of novels to align with the curriculum. And line 459, dues and fees includes a super teacher subscription.
The big drop in 449.
Lane change.
It was a lane change.
Lane change, okay, thank you. Other questions regarding the middle school resource? Okay.
Middle school self-contained. So line 460, the middle school self-contained teacher, this is currently, nothing has been spent this year because we were unable to fill that position. The life skills teacher at the elementary school has been the case manager for both programs at the elementary and middle school. And 2 Ed Tech 3s have run day-to-day classroom instruction in both buildings. So 2 Ed Tech 3s at the elementary, 2 Ed Tech 3s at the high school. So she is doing case management, and she consults and spends time, her week split between the 2 classrooms. We hope to fill this teaching position next year. Line 461, salaries for 6 out of the 8 ed techs in the program. 2 of these ed techs are paid through federal funding. Line 462, salaries for special education substitutes. This year is higher due to a work-related injury. 463, benefits for the teacher. We are planning for a family plan in hiring the new teacher. Line 464, there's more in 463 too, but I'll get to that in a minute. 464, benefits for 6 ed techs. 465 is benefits for special education subs. On 465, was subs. 466, the retirement for the special education teacher, you'll notice, is 0, and that's because of how our payroll system works. They can't calculate the retirement, so that is accounted for in that benefits line currently. So there is money planned for, but it can't go in this line yet. Okay. 467, retirement for 6 ed techs. 468, retirement for the special education subs. 469 is those same contracted services for BCBA and AAC specialists based on student need. Line 470, professional development covered by federal funding. Line 471, instructional supplies, groceries and other supplies for cooking, laundry and cleaning supplies, personal care supplies, sensory tools such as weighted items, fidgets, and noise-canceling headphones, binders, sheet protectors, dividers, file folders for discrete trial programming. Line 472, books related to science and social studies topics with real-life connections. And line 473, dues and fees are not needed this year.
Questions regarding middle school self-contained? Michelle?
Just in general, where does the funding come out of for the out-of-district school tuition?
In another section.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We will get there, yeah. High school resource, sorry. I was already on there. Okay. High school resource, line 474. Salaries for 4 resource room teachers are in that line. Line 475, salaries for 6 ed techs. This is where one of the ed tech positions was cut. That position has remained open for more than a year. Line 476, special education substitute salaries. It's higher this year due to the part-time subs for open positions. Line 477, IEP building coordinator chairs for meetings and reviewing paperwork as part of the contractual stipend. Line 478, IEP coordinator benefits. Line 479, benefits for the 4 resource room teachers. Line 480 is benefits for 6 ed techs. Line 481 is benefits for the special education subs. Line 482, retirement for the IEP coordinator. Line 483, retirement for the 4 resource room teachers. Line 484, retirement for the 6 ed techs. Line 485, retirement for the special education substitutes. Line 486, professional development is for our other safety care trainer to attend her annual recertification. Line 487, instructional supplies include individual whiteboards, calculators, class sets of earbuds, and flexible seating. Line 488 includes classroom sets of books to align with the curriculum at a lower reading level. And line 489 is dues and fees to cover some of the recertification cards for those staff members being recertified in safety care.
Questions regarding high school resource? Go ahead.
High school self-contained, line 490, the salary is for a life skills teacher. Currently, we're contracting with a retired teacher to do the case management and supervision of 2 Ed Tech 3s because we were unable to fill this teaching position this year. We anticipate hiring a teacher with less experience than the previous teacher, so this line does have a reduction there. And we do have an Ed Tech 3 finishing up his last 2 classes. Line 491, salaries for 7 out of the 8 ed techs in the program. 1 ed tech is paid through federal funding. This is also where an ed tech has been cut. This position has been open for over a year. Line 492, substitute costs are higher than budgeted due to subs filling in the open ed tech positions as available. 493, benefits for the special education teacher. Line 494, benefits for 7 ed techs. 495 is benefits for the special education subs. Line 496 is the same as the middle school life skills. It's retirement for the teacher, and because that is open at this point, it is reflected in the benefits. Line 497, retirement for the ed techs. Line 498, retirement for the subs. Line 499, contracted special education is extremely high this year because we're contracting with that retired teacher. Next year, we anticipate an increase in contracted services needed with the board-certified behavior analyst and the AAC specialist based on the incoming students. So that contracted that's over so much is in the salary line for this current budget. So that's why we increased it just by a little bit, but not enough to meet this year. We don't anticipate going that high next year. Line 500, professional development travel will be covered by federal funding. Line 501, instructional supplies include personal care supplies, file folders, adapted line paper, laminating sheets, index cards, reading and math manipulatives, sensory tools, adaptive measuring cups and recipe books, dry erase boards, counters, glue, cardstock, social skills teaching tools, and mats. Line 502, no additional book purchases are needed this year. And line 503, dues and fees are not needed this year.
Questions regarding the high school self-contained?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. On the tech salary, it's showing the increase of 46,000, but I'm just wondering, did we add another position? Because it's been at 140, 162, and now it's going to 208.
There is, currently there's another, yes, we need to add another position. It's transferred from another area from last year, and that is because of the number of students that we have at that level. Now that students can stay till the age of 22, we have more than 20 kids in that life skills program, so we have 2 Ed Tech 3s currently up there, which was an addition this year.
Awesome. And then another question, if you don't mind, the benefits for the teacher that's going up, even though we're going to get a lesser potential salary for a teacher, I noticed that the benefits are going up 50,000. Is that
That's
because we're suspecting maybe a family plan?
We always plan for a family plan, but also the retirement is there because there's nothing in the retirement line due to the payroll system.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Next section is special education administration, line 504. This is our tuition for K to 8. We have 7 students out of district at the special purpose private schools for day treatment. And line 505, the tuition for private, this is 9 through 12. This line is for 3 students in grades 9 through 12 to attend out of district special purpose school. This line is reduced because we do have a graduating senior. Line 506, special education director salary. Line 507, this is assistant special education director salary, which is a split position with the 504 coordinator. And the rest of those salaries are in the building budgets. Line 508, salary for 1 special education administrative assistant. Line 509, director benefits. Line 510, assistant director benefits. Line 511, administrative assistant benefits. Line 512, administrative assistant retirement. Line 513, assistant special education director retirement. Line 514, director retirement. Line 15 is our postage. For each IEP meeting, there are at least 3 mailings. That's minimum. Additionally, we must mail permission to evaluate forms, evaluation reports when they're completed, and provide self-addressed stamped envelopes for any paperwork we mail home that requires a signature. Line 516, professional development, will be covered by federal funding. Line 517 does have an increase this year. These are for our general supplies in our office for paper envelopes, cum files, working file folders, basic office supplies, binders, organization, and data tracking supplies. However, we need to purchase a new academic evaluation kit. We are on our last year of being able to use our current kit because they updated it. So we have to buy a new kit, or we would be out of compliance. Line 518, dues and fees, is for cell phone bills and MADSEC, which is the special education equivalent to the Maine Principals Association. MADSEC doesn't really stand for the letters anymore. That's for anything anymore, but it is the special education directors. So those dues pay for myself, the assistant director, and our administrative assistant to be part of that. And they offer trainings and lots of guidance. And then 519 is the Maine Care Seed. The Maine Care Seed is the state mandated local funding portion that school administrative units must pay for school-based Maine Care services, which is about 38% of the total cost of those billable services.
Questions regarding special ed admin? Michelle?
I'm sorry. If I heard correctly, you're planning for 10 out-of-school district students for next year, and we currently have 14.
So 2 of that, we will have 12 total next year. 1 student who is a state agency client is graduating. We don't pay the tuition for that student. The state does.
Okay.
So that's 1 of them. And 2 of them attend a day treatment at a public program, so I'm able to pay for those 2 out of federal funding.
Okay. Is that included? Is that number reflected, or is it taken out of the federal funding?
The tuition for those 2 students is paid for by the federal funding we receive.
Okay, is the number reflected after it's taken out?
I'm not sure. There's this and federal funding are 2 separate budgets.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nope,
that
that's
I
okay.
needed that clarification. And then, generally speaking, if eligible, is just sort of the concept and the thought process around this that we are hoping to gradually, hopefully, matriculate these students back into the district?
Mm-hmm. And we have, yep.
Okay, thank you.
In the last 2 years, we've brought 2 students back.
Other questions regard, Elaine?
Sherry, just housekeeping. I want to thank you for being so direct and explaining every single one of these, including general supplies and all that. You've made it very easy for me to understand, and I don't have a long attention span. So I thank you so much.
It's, I made the teachers send me details on everything they wanted, so I guess I could only do the same, right? So the next section is K-8 homebound. So any special education student or Section 504 student that's removed from school more than 10 days, whether for medical reasons or for suspension, must be offered tutoring services in order to access their special education services and academics. And I say offered because not all parents want to accept that service, but we still have to offer it. So that is what is in this line. Line 520 is the primary school tutor salary. It's not often we use that line. Line 521 is elementary school tutor salaries, and those were reduced because we have not used that line. Line 522 is the middle school tutoring salaries. Line 523, primary tutor benefits. There was line 522, 23, and 24 are all zero. There were new lines created there. 5, 23, 24, 25, sorry. So then we get down to their benefits are on line 526 for the primary school tutor benefits. Line 527, it says substitute benefits, but the line is elementary school tutor benefits. And line 528 is middle school tutor benefits. Line 529 is professional benefits, which there's no teachers. We typically don't have teachers, and tutors are paid hourly, so there's no teacher there. 530 is the primary school tutor retirement. 531 is the elementary school tutor retirement. 532 is the middle school tutor benefits. 533 is contracted tutoring. This was removed because we have not accessed this service. We attempted to during COVID, but it did not work in our favor.
Questions regarding K-8 homebound? Okay.
9 through 12 homebound, line 534, high school tutor salaries. 534 is the tutor benefits, which is zero. 536 is where their high school tutor benefits are. Line 537, professional retirement. Again, there's not any, it's not a teacher paid position, so there's nothing there. Line 538 is the high school tutor retirement.
Questions regarding 9 to 12 homebound?
Other special education programs, 9 through 12, line 539. It says contracted special education. We don't have any other programs, so that line is zero. Psychological K-8. This is for special education evaluations to determine eligibility. We contract with 2 companies to complete psychological evaluations, as well as 1 retired teacher to do our academics. Line 40 is evaluations for K-2. Line 541 is evaluations for 3 to 5, and line 542 is evaluations to 6 to 8. And line 543 is evaluations for 9 through 12.
Questions regarding psychological evaluation, K to 12?
Speech K-8, line 544 is contracted services. We have 2 in-person speech language pathologists that we contract with to provide the services to our students in grades K to 5. At the middle school, we have a high-tech program which consists of an in-person facilitator and a teletherapist, which is also done through a yearly contract. Line 545, primary instructional supplies for speech to provide visual schedules and communication boards, as well as tools for social pragmatic skills. Line 546 is those same supplies, but at the elementary level. Line 547 is middle school supplies for speech with the same communication boards and social pragmatics tools. And line 548, dues and fees were removed. Since the providers are all contracted, their dues and fees are no longer our responsibility.
Questions regarding speech K to 8?
It looks like, was that on? Yeah. Between, it looks like we have quite an increase going on between, for next year for the speech, the contracted services. Are we anticipating more students or?
There is an increase in the contracted rates.
Okay. Wow, okay. Thank you.
Other questions K to 8 speech? No? Okay.
9 through 12 speech, line 549 is the other portion, the high school portion of that high-tech contract for the in-person facilitator and the online teletherapist. Line 550 is an unused line. Line 551 is the instructional supplies needed for the high school in the therapy setting.
Questions regarding 9 to 12 speech?
Right. OT, so occupational therapy K to 8. RSU73 employs 1 full-time occupational therapist and contracts with 1 therapist up to 3 days per week. Line 552 is the primary school portion of that full-time occupational therapist. Line 553 is the elementary portion of the full-time occupational therapist. Line 554 is the middle school portion of the full-time occupational therapist. Line 555 is the primary portion of the full-time OT benefits. 556 is the elementary portion of the benefits. Line 557 is the middle school portion of the benefits. Line 558 is the primary portion of the OT retirement. Line 559 is the full-time, elementary portion of the full-time OT retirement. Line 560 is the middle school portion of the full-time OT retirement. 561 is half of the contracted amount for the second occupational therapy services. Line 562 is professional development, which will be covered only for the full-time OT, but by federal funding. Line 563, primary school instructional supplies for individual student therapy needs. Line 564 is the elementary instructional supplies for individual student therapy needs, and line 565 is the middle school instructional supplies for individual student therapy needs.
Questions regarding OT K to 8? Andrew?
It's just a comment, but as far as speech therapy goes, I've known kids who've been the benefit of that program. It's remarkable the progress they make and to be able to get up to speed with the classroom and everything. It's one of the few therapies I've seen that really works, and I'm glad you support that.
Thank you.
Other questions regarding OT K to 8?
Okay. OT 9 through 12. Line 566 is the high school portion of the full-time therapist salary. Line 567 is the high school portion of the full-time occupational therapy benefits. Line 568 is the high school portion of the full-time OT retirement. Line 569 is the other half of the contracted OT amount. And line 570 is professional development and travel, which will be covered by federal funding.
Questions regarding OT 9 to 12?
Physical therapy, K to 8. RSU73 contracts with a private physical therapist who oversees a physical therapy assistant to provide direct therapy to our students who have this related service as part of their IEP in order to access their educational environment. The therapist is on site for evaluations. The physical therapist herself is on site for evaluations and is responsible for the IEP goals and progress monitoring. Line 571 is the K to 8 portion of the contracted physical therapy. Line 572 is primary school supplies for those physical therapists. Line 573 is elementary school supplies. Line 574 is middle school supplies. Line 575 is primary school physical therapy equipment. And 576 is elementary school physical therapy equipment.
Questions, PT, K to 8.
PT 9 through 12. Line 577 is the 9 through 12 portion of the contracted physical therapy cost. Line 578 is high school supplies, and 579 is high school physical therapy equipment.
Questions, PT 9 to 12.
Special education summer school. Under federal and Maine regulations, all IEP teams must consider whether each individual student demonstrates significant regression over extended periods of time away from school, such as summer vacation, that cannot be recouped in a period of time equivalent to their grade level peers. They must also consider the severity of disability and the benefit of extended programming. Line 580 is the salaries for teachers. We advertise for one teacher per building. We often have these teacher positions covered by our Ed Tech 3s. Line, which we legally can do. It can be a teacher in Ed Tech 3 in the summertime because it's to maintain skills, not to teach new skills. Line 581 is the salaries for the Ed Techs. The number of Ed Techs is determined in the spring after the IEP teams have determined who requires services and what the individual needs are within that learning environment. Line 582 is the benefits for the lead teachers. Line 583 is the benefits for the Ed Techs. Line 584 is teacher retirement. Line 585 is Ed Tech retirement. Line 586 is the instructional supplies for programming. And line 587 is also instructional supplies for programming. You'll see that this year's budget, there hasn't been anything spent out of it yet, and that's because it will pay for this upcoming summer.
Questions regarding special ed summer school?
Are you sick of listening to me yet? I'm almost done. K to 8 behavior. Line 588 is the primary school behavior program teacher salary. Line 589 is the elementary school behavior program teacher salary. Line 590 is the middle school behavior program teacher salary. Line 591 is the salaries for 3 ed techs at the primary school. Line 592 is 1 out of the 2 ed techs in the elementary school program. The second ed tech is paid out of federal funding. Line 593, 2 ed techs at the middle school. Line 594, teacher substitute salaries. Line 595, primary school behavior program teacher benefits. 596 is the elementary school teacher benefits. 597 is the middle school teacher benefits. Line 598 is the benefits for 3 ed techs at the primary school. Line 599 is benefits for 1 ed tech at the elementary school. Line 600 is benefits for 2 ed techs at the middle school. Line 601 is substitute benefits. Line 602 is primary school teacher retirement. Line 603, elementary school teacher retirement. Line 604 is middle school behavior program teacher retirement. Line 605 is retirement for the 3 ed techs at the primary school. Line 606 is retirement for 1 ed tech at the elementary school. Line 607 is retirement for 2 ed techs at the middle school. Line 608 is retirement for substitutes. 609 is contracted services for the board certified behavior analyst that consults at the primary school. Line 610 is contracted services for the board certified behavior analyst at the elementary, and 611 is the contracted for the middle school for the behavior analyst. Line 612, professional development and travel will be covered by federal funding. Line 613, professional development and travel for the elementary school covered by federal funding, and 614 is middle school, which will also be covered by federal funding. Line 615, instructional supplies for individual student needs with flexible seating, sensory tools for de-escalation, and supplemental social learning curriculum materials at the primary school. Line 616, instructional supplies include double-sided dry erase boards, extra dry erase markers, flexible seating, adaptive writing utensils, sensory tools for de-escalation, all at the elementary school. And line 617 is instructional supplies that include binders, index dividers, anchor charts, planners, light covers, clipboards, colored pencils, and timers for the middle school. Line 618, no book purchases are needed this year at the primary school. Line 619, social emotional learning curriculum books at the elementary school. And line 620, replace tattered class novels and buy one classroom set of novels to align with curriculum at a lower level. Line 621 is the primary school dues and fees that are not needed this year. Line 622, elementary school dues and fees for the Facts and Fitness program. And line 623, middle school dues and fees are not needed this year.
Questions regarding K-8 behavior program?
We made it to the last section. High school behavior program, line 624, professional salary for one teacher. Line 625, salaries for 3 ed techs. Line 626, benefits for one teacher. Line 627, benefits for the 3 ed techs. Line 628, teacher retirement. Line 629, 3 ed tech retirements. Line 630 is the board certified behavior analyst contract. Line 631, professional development and travel, that will come from federal funding. Line 632, general supply line, this line is not used. The instructional supplies in 633. This includes supplies for the classroom as well as mats to go on a small wall. In all of the other buildings, we have spaces for kids when they get physically aggressive. The walls are made out of the mats like that are at the end of the gym, right? So the kids fall into the wall, they don't get hurt. And we don't have a room like that at the high school. We do have some concerns about an incoming high school student who could be physically aggressive and was denied out of district placement, so we need to plan for him. So that is in that line. Line 634, replace books that are worn within the classroom, and 635 are dues and fees for a classroom software subscription.
Questions regarding high school behavior program? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're up. Yeah, we're going to take 5 minutes.
Mine's quick. They have to wake up after I put them to sleep.
This looks like it's a double one. What? On,
Don't worry, she's short and sweet.
Yeah, mine's not very long. So, line 636 through 644, unless you want, that's all contractual, unless you want me to do one by one. I have 22 shared bus drivers with, well, sorry. I have 14 shared bus drivers with Wayne, 8 30-hour bus drivers for 180 days. 2 bus monitors that I share with Ed Tech and food service, and I have 6 van drivers. That's included in the salary and wages, and that's going through negotiations right now. So that covers page 28. Page 29, line 43 and 44 in the salaries and benefits. Line 45, contracted professionals. That is Bailey Brothers, Harry J. Smith Spring Company, Affordable Fire Protection, Citadel Technology, that covers bus van cameras, radios. St. Mary's Regional Medical Center, WorkMed, driver's drug testing and physicals. Main Information Network, that's where I do all the background checks on all employees in the district and volunteers. DISA Global Solutions does our drug and alcohol pool testing. They're the ones that produce our randoms for all the drivers. O'Connor, WC Cressy, Main Commercial Tire, Napa Auto Parts, Portland Glass, Motor Supply, Wallingford Equipment, Franklin Printing, Signworks, Reggie's Sales and Service, Hilltop Collision, Al's Tire Center, Unity School Bus Parts, Paris Farmers Union, Overhead Door Company, Hussey Communications, and prices of parts and labor have increased, as everyone knows. Also, older equipment, such as our camera systems, cost more to repair and replace. They need to be updated for firmware and preventive maintenance. Increase in drug and alcohol mandatory testing has also gone up 3.7% this year. Any questions? Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Page 29, line 646, contracted transportation. This covers ride source, reimbursement of parents, reimburse 50% for McKinney Vinto Transportation, and that's federal law. Special needs students coming in the fall, unknown transportation needs, because they are coming in with IEPs. We don't know exactly if any of that's going to include transportation. Increase McKinney Vento in special transportation needs.
Yeah, remember in that line, there is no special ed transportation line. It doesn't exist. It should, but the state doesn't have that. So most of what that is all the stuff that she deals with special ed students, getting them to different places with a van or our special buses to do that as well.
Page 29, line 647, water and sewer. As far as I know, there's no change with that. Page 29, line 648, repairs, maintenance, equipment. Increase due to older equipment and increased prices for parts due to having an older fleet. This includes lawnmowers, tractors, skid steers, increase in tire prices, ages of buses. We have 13 buses that are between 10 and 17 years old. DEF for buses also fall under that, and yeah, lights, I mean, I can go on for days for that one.
What is DEF?
It's diesel, environmental fluid, exhaust fluid, diesel exhaust fluid.
I asked for Elaine.
Oh, sorry.
It's to make it cleaner.
Yes, it's,
For the environment.
and that's actually why I'm trying to get away from the diesel buses also, because next year it's going to be a law that they have to have 2 tanks, and we spend a lot of money on DEF. Page 29, line 649, repairs of maintenance grounds, sanding, plowing, trash removal, custodial, mowing. It's actually decreased. lost my place, sorry. Yeah, I went down $1,000, right? I know, I'm losing my, 6,949. Okay, building, 650. Repairs of maintenance of building, locks, doors, painting, sanding, fire alarm testing. That's also decreased 1,000. Property insurance, I believe that's gone up, both due to rate increases, line 51 and 52. Auto insurance, 63, line 63, communications, that actually is, we have to pay for FCC licensing, we have to pay for the tower, anything you do with FCC, they charge you for everything, so. And then travel, that's for training, some of it's mandatory, some of it's just informational stuff for our drivers. They usually go April vacation up to Mount Blue. General supplies, roof rakes, garden hoses, rags, paper towels, toilet paper, pens, paper, ink, gloves, files, office, just office equipment. Line 56, electricity rate increase. Page 29, 657, propane due to propane usage. It's actually decreased.
Hold on just a second, Norma. Crystal, are we still in that program with the solar for the electricity? And is that saving any?
We are, but legislature just passed some rules on that, so we're not gaining as much, we're not saving as much, because there were people out there that pushed the legislature because the electric companies were losing money, and solar was, there's a battle going on there, and we kind of got pinched, but we're still all set with that overall. Plus, we had 4 different buildings this year. Last year, I think we had 5 things, and this year we have 4 that is a different contract, electrical, and that's, electricity costs have gone up, so. But we are still saving money with the solar. That's a 20-year program, but we're not getting the benefits that we got in the first couple of years that we're now because of the change in the law.
Line 658, vehicle fuel, that's gone up, and that's due to predicted increase to CDS, special transportation, and McKinney-Vento needs. Just today, the McKinney-Vento, I got 3 more clients today, so that started after vacation. Equipment, no difference, no change. Dues and fees, that is for MAPT, Maine Association for Pupil Transportation membership, Maine Motor Transport membership. That helps us, actually gives us a discount on drug testing. And Easy Pass tolls, so when they go out of town for trips, it's a much easier process for them to just grab an Easy Pass and go with the bus instead of worrying about cash and receipts. And principals and interest, Crystal can probably explain that better to you, but we went down on the principal and up on the interest. And I believe that's for the new bus, the propane bus?
It's the new buses, so the new buses, you pay more in interest than you do with the ones that you're paying off, so that's just bus leases.
Do we have any buses, you said we have quite a few that are older in the fleet. Do we have any that we're in the process of getting ready to purchase?
Not at this time, no. Who doesn't want new buses, but I just think financially we can't do it right now.
Questions regarding transportation? Andrew?
Now that we have the propane buses online, are they meeting the expectations of cost savings and reliability that was promised to us by the vendor?
Maintenance-wise, yes. We had a little problem with the propane bus. We had to, they set up a lot higher than the other ones, and we have a student that has a difficult time getting off and on because of the way it's set up. So we had to order a part, like an RV step, to go under the bus that comes out. They have to pull it in and out for him. So that took time to get that. Fuel-wise, we've only filled it once since we've had it, and we've had it since, yeah. So obviously, yeah, it's been a good investment. And we haven't had to plug it in once.
Regarding line 645, I think you mentioned that was McKinney-Vento, correct?
That includes McKinney-Vento.
Includes, and also special services combined in that. And the McKinney-Vento, is that, if I recall, specifically for our unhoused population?
Unhoused, unaccompanied teens, if somebody loses a boiler and has to go live in a hotel.
Okay. Do we have a number roughly on how many students we are servicing in that program district-wide?
Well, it's not just us district-wide, because we have to provide 50% for any other school district if they're in our district.
Okay.
So if somebody goes to Edward Little and they come and move here with their grandmother, I have to provide them 50% of their transportation.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a number on that, on how many students roughly?
Right now, I have 11.
11? And
But
then,
it's because, it's not 11 families, it's 11 students.
okay. And does that
Right.
include the 3 that we are going to start providing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Quick question, and I apologize if you already said this, but how big is our fleet? Like, how many buses, vans? What's the total number?
I have 7 vans, and I have 30, I want to say 33 buses. 32 or 33 buses.
And how many buses or vans run just for the transportation every day, not for the extracurricular or the sports?
22 buses run every day and 6 vans.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions regarding transportation?
I have a couple. Can you hear me? Norma, I just have a couple clarifying questions. On line 638, is the 99,000 because we hired another driver? We're going up on our budget for salaries for bus drivers by $100,000.
We're in negotiations right now, so we're on the high side.
In order to bargain in good faith, you have to put a reasonable number in there. It doesn't mean that's what the number will be when the negotiations are over.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Also on line 648, for your repairs and maintenance, and I think you have said, like, this is the scary line. I guess I just question if we're putting enough in that budget, because it looks like in '25, you were way over budget, and you're projected right now to be over budget if you don't spend more than $10,000. So I'm just questioning if we're continually going over budget, that may want to increase.
You mean request repairs, maintenance above that $10,000?
Well, I mean, in '25, you were at 112,000, and you are already with still 5 months left, already 73 out of your $85,000 budget. So,
Well,
mean,
last year we lost an engine,
okay,
and,
so that's why it was so high.
mhm.
Just something to be, I'm a accounting geek, and I just hate to see lines that we're obviously going over. And I don't have obviously the 24, 23 to see if you have gone over every year, but it might be something to consider. 652, the auto insurance, is that because of the new bus? Or is that just the rate increase is literally going up $12,000?
It's just the rate increase. What's that percentage, Crystal? Can you?
Okay.
We increased throughout the district 25%. And that's what they are expecting. It's for...
Wow, that's a huge increase.
It's not just us. It's how insurance works throughout our country. So when you have devastations and all of that, our insurance all goes up whether you've had a claim or no claim or added anything.
Yeah. Thank you, Crystal. And then the last one is 659, the equipment budget. We're averaging it quite high at 16,000, but it's quite low. Our usage in that line. Can you explain why we have 16,000 budgeted when we're only, 3 to 5,000 maybe in usage?
If the skid, well, that equipment covers our lawnmowers, our tractors, our skid steer, I mean, it definitely needs to be there. I personally don't think it needs to go up. We've just been repairing it and repairing it. We haven't been really, but if we do need it, it's going to be there.
And that equipment doesn't come under Wayne?
No. I pay for all the district fuel and equipment.
Okay.
Just to
Yeah, I was
just-
saying maybe decrease it, not increase, sorry.
So just to clarify, Jody, years ago, this used to be all one unit. So that's why all the vehicles, all the tractors and such were always kind of sort of in facilities and maintenance. But when they changed it to two entities because of all the work, it kind of fell into transportation for the tractors and so on and so forth, so.
Okay, so that's not just the lawnmowers and tractors for the transportation area, that is for the whole district?
Correct, that's for the whole district.
Okay.
So we're talking,
I was thinking it was
six buildings.
just for
and-
like mowing Norma's lawn.
No,
Okay,
she
that makes sense.
doesn't really have a lawn
Thank you.
down there at all, so. Thank you.
I don't have a lawn.
Other questions regarding transportation? Holly?
This is probably a question for Crystal. How often do we shop around for auto insurance? And how many companies actually service school policies?
Since I've been here, we go through MSMA because they are used to districts, and they shop around themselves, so their carriers get changed, but we go through them.
Is there any other options? Can we price out anything on our own, or is that unfeasible?
Yeah, what? Yeah, and, we do incentives, and we do different housekeeping things throughout the year that bring the price down by quite a bit, like, well, $3,000, $2,000. Making sure our safety is up to date, making sure we watch certain videos, attend certain trainings, and you earn so many points, which helps lower the cost. There was a email going out here over the past few weeks on the business managed listserv, and they were asking different districts if they have, ventured outside MSMA. And a couple of them had written that they had gone, one had gone with Cross Insurance and one had gone with another one. And the savings was only good for that 1 year, and then it went above and beyond what MSMA is charging.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I just add to that real quick? We've had a couple incidents where we had to have vehicles replaced, and it was amazing to deal with them, too. I mean, they were fast, quick. The appraisers were here within a couple days. That's something to be said, too, because I know personally I've waited for adjusters sometimes for a couple weeks, and we can't afford to have any vehicles down for that amount of time.
Other questions regarding transportation? Thank you, Norma.
All set?
Good evening. So we'll start with page 29, line 663, salary of custodians. Again, like was said, at this point in time, we're estimating due to negotiations about, at the primary school, we have 4 custodians there. Then line 664 is the salary for the subs. We moved that out. It's so hard to find anyone that wants to clean and stuff, so we utilize within. Same as line 665, we subtracted that. Benefits custodians, lines 666, that is transfer to open positions. That's why there's a good decrease there. Line 667, same thing, is a lane change for retirement. Line 668 is the contracted professionals, which is the annual contracts. That consists of Siemens, Genie Roofing, IPM, which is Modern Pest, Security and Fire with Maine Fire. I switched to them with a savings this year. Elevator, Stanley Elevator, fire extinguishers, sprinkler system at the primary. We have to have that inspected. Gym equipment, and the generator servicing for that. Line 669, water and sewer. Over there we have a well. And also a septic tank on property there. So with that, it's a little bit more for state fees for the well, salt for water softener, septic we have pumped every year. Line 670, repairs, maintenance to equipment is the HVAC repairs, which is our heating system, security system. We deal with some cameras, custodial equipment repair, elevator repairs, pumps, motors, so on and so forth. Line 671, repairs, maintenance to the grounds. That consists of ice melt, sand, salt for the winter, loam, grass seed, parking lot paint, any signs that we need, playground chips, catch basin cleanings, fence repairs. Line 672 is repairs, maintenance of the building. That's plumbing, anything plumbing, electrical, roof repairs, door locks, window shades, paint, toilet replacements, flooring, window, anything like, and then line 673, copier lease, that's the lease of the copiers. There's an increase there this year due to moving copiers around in the district. Line 674 is property insurance. Again, that's up 25% or so. Communications, that has to do with phone lines, landlines, monthly average. I was looking, at our past budgets. I adjusted that.
Hold on just a second, Wayne. Sorry. The copier lease, I thought that was under technology.
No,
The equipment and all that stuff is under technology, but the lease itself, for some reason, has always been put into operation and point. Wayne loves the fact that everything gets put into his section.
Let's just
but
throw it
but
over here.
It's not, most of these things are from the state with the numbers and that where you have to put them. They don't always make sense, but that's where they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
knew
good
that was gonna be a
question. It's a good question, but very good question.
So I lease them. Chris just puts the toner in.
Sorry to open up that can of worms. Okay, continue.
Okay, so line 676 is travel. Any personal vehicle use, that's usually if they, of course, we have to go for bus physicals or anything for drug or alcohol testing. If they use their own vehicles, we have that there for that purpose. General supplies, 677, that consists of toilet paper, paper towels, soap, cleaning supplies, trash bags, rubber gloves, nuts, bolts, stripper, wax, any and all things that takes to clean our schools, keep them fresh. So, line 678, electricity. Again, I looked at past usage and, like Scott said, with a solar program, so that's gone up a little bit there. Line 679 is heating. It says heating oil at this point in time, obviously. We brought that down because if we do change to propane.
It says propane at the moment, but it used to say.
Oh, okay,
But
yeah.
it used to say
It did
heating
say,
oil, you're
yes,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't change that on mine, but we adjusted that down $5,000, hoping that if that's the way that we go, then that would give us a savings. Dues and fees is boiler license, elevator license, water fees. We also belong to Maine Rural Water Association, where we have the well. We have to have a licensed person to draw water to have it tested through the state to make sure our water's safe to drink.
Questions regarding primary school operations?
Okay, so this is for the Spruce Mountain Elementary School, line 681. Again, that's salaries for the custodians. There is 3 down there, 1 during the day, 2 at night. 682 is salary for the subs. Again, it's the same as before. Same as benefits for the subs at 683. 684 is benefits for the custodians. New employee taking benefits. Line 685 is retirement. That was when a employee left and there was no, main peers isn't offered to any new employees now. So if we have the ones that retire, then we can save there. Line 686, contracted professionals. Again, that's for the elementary is Siemens, Genie Roofing, Modern Pest, Main Fire, fire extinguishers that need to be maintained. A-plus athletics for the gym equipment, generators, servicing, and backflow testing for the water where we have town water. Line 687, water and sewer, building uses adjusted from the monthly average. Again, I checked last year's, this year's. You try to give it a ballpark figure. Line 688, repairs, maintenance of equipment, HVAC, repairs, security systems, cameras, custodial equipment, elevator repairs, pumps, motors. Line 689, repairs, maintenance ground. That's ice melt, sand, loam, grass seed, parking lot paint, signs, playground chips, catch basin cleaning, and fence repair. Line 690, maintenance of the building, same plumbing, electrical, roof repairs, door locks, window shades, paint, toilet sink replacement, and flooring. Line 691, copier lease, moved copiers around the district. So that went up there. Line 692, property insurance increase. Line 693, communications, phones, landlines, adjusted that to cover, because I know that was short. Line 694, travel, same thing there for anything related to their physicals. 695, general supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, cleaning rubber, gloves, nuts, bolts, stripper wax. 696 is propane for the building. For heat, adjusted down from last year's usage. We didn't use as much propane as what we thought we was going to need, so. 697 is electricity. I adjusted due to last year's. And then line 698, dues and fees, again, boiler license, water fees for backflow down there.
Questions regarding elementary school operation? Oh, Tanya.
What does it mean? I'm kind of dumb when it comes to this.
No,
but
it's fine.
Copiers, like when you move them around the district, why does it
So-
cost so much?
So this year, yeah, if you want to, Chris. It's a whole new,
And why did
whole
we
new
move them?
leasing program.
We're on basically a 5-year cycle for the lease. So basically, when the lease runs out, because we have copiers in the district, when the lease runs out, we lease a new set of copiers, and it all depends on where they land in what school. So this go around, we ended up with 4 at the elementary school, 3 at the primary school, 3 at the middle school, and only 2 at the high school. Where with the last lease, we had more at the high school. So you see, so the number shifts depending on the number of new
Leases?
copiers that are at the buildings.
Okay.
And don't we keep some of the copiers
Yeah, so
once the lease is
We
up?
keep those, but we're not paying on them anymore. So we have those in the they're still in the buildings, but we're not having to pay on that, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Moving on to the middle school, line 699, salaries for the custodians. At the middle school, we currently have 5 custodians there, 1 during the day, 2 half-time, 2 4-hour positions at night, and 2 8-hour positions at night. Line 700 is salary for the subs, we moved that out. Line 701, benefits for the subs, has been moved out. Line 702, benefits for the custodians. Again, that was a shift, lane change. Line 703 is main peers, which is the retirement. There's 1 currently, In that, line 704, contracted professionals, again, elevator, so on and so forth. For that, 705, water and sewer, building usage has gone up. 706, repair and maintenance of the equipment, which is HVAC repairs, security systems, cameras, custodial equipment repair, elevator repairs. Line 707, repairs, maintenance ground, that's ice melt, sand, loam, grass seed, parking lot paint, signs, catch basins, fence repair, also their soccer field painting and maintaining. Line 708 is repairs, maintenance of the buildings, plumbing, electrical, roof repairs, door locks, window shades, paint, so on. Line 709 is the copier lease, and that's where you can see there's a decrease there at the middle school. Line 710, property insurance increase. Line 711 is communications, the phone lines. I adjusted that one as well because we were always a little behind. Line 712 is travel. That's, again, appointments, physicals, drug testing. Line 713, general supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, cleaning supplies. Line 714 is the propane usage for the boilers there. I adjusted that. We seemed like a little low from year to year on that by 300. Electricity, I adjusted from years past. And then dues and fees, same thing is line 716 is boiler license, elevator license, water fees for the backflow testing, so on.
Questions regarding middle school operations?
So in here is the repairs for maintenance and grounds and all that stuff. Since the AYS has use of like that soccer field and all
Correct.
that stuff, do they take up any of the burden for any of that? I'm seeing
No.
no's.
No. We don't do anything extra for them, so to speak. We don't paint fields for them. What's there is what they use. They bring, if they have any equipment that they need, like, for instance, the soccer program, they bring their own soccer goals, the smaller ones and stuff, use half fields, stuff like that. They will use our equipment that's there, but no, other than that, AYS is, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Other questions regarding middle school? Okay.
I apologize, it's so repetitive, so, it's building for building, so. Line 717 is salaries for the custodians. Currently here at this building, we have 5, which is 2 during the day, 1 is in the kitchen, 1 actually in the school itself. 1 4-hour position at night and 2 8-hour positions at night. Line 718 is moved out. Line 719 is moved out, which is the salary for the subs and the benefits for the subs. Line 720, benefits for the custodians. Again, moving ones around. Line 721, retirement, main peers, they've either retired or resigned, so there's a savings. Line 722, contracted professionals, that went up just a slight amount. It was never put in for the outside bleachers. for the inspection. So that's just a portion of this, of that expense there for the bleachers on Griffin Field. Line 723, water and sewer, building usage is averaged out. Line 724, repairs and maintenance of equipment. That's heating, HVAC, security, cameras, custodial equipment repair, elevators, pumps and motors. Line 725, repairs and maintenance of the grounds. Now, this is the one that is a large amount because obviously we have a lot of fields, we have a lot of painting. This takes in all the grounds. So we do a lot of, so with the sports fields, we have fertilizing, repairs, takes a lot more money in that sense. So it's ice melt, sand and salt, loam, grass seed, parking lot paint signs, sports fields maintenance, field paint, catch basins, fencing, anything that needs to be done outside here, sidewalks during the winter. So line 726, repairs, maintenance to buildings, plumbing, electrical, roof repairs, door locks, window shades, paint. Line 727, copier lease. It's moved around in the district. Line 728, property insurance increase. Line 729 is communications, which is phone lines. Line 730 is travel for bus physicals, so on. Line 731, general supplies, same thing, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, cleaning supplies, so on. Line 732 is propane, heat for the building. I adjusted that down a little bit from last year. Electricity, brought that up. Building usage, 734 is dues and fees, boiler license, elevator license, water fees and backflow. Line 735 is for the bleacher and truck lease. And then 736 is interest roof bonds, so that must be done, I guess. So I'm just reading. It's gone down
That's the interest on all of
the
those.
interest on all that,
Yeah.
so.
And you'll see in 735, that's where the roof came off. Remember, this is the last year that we had to pay for it. And you'll see farther down under debt service that we've gone up 74,000. That's what the prediction is for if we vote to get the new boilers over at the primary school. So it's a $10,000 difference. It's just in different line.
Truck lease. Can you explain that? Only because I know we purchased a truck
Yes, that's.
a while ago, and do I remember why, how, when? No, but I had a member of the public ask me about that. They also asked me about the plow on the truck. Are we now doing our own plowing? I'm just following up.
So, when I came into the position, it was brought to the Building and Grounds Committee to purchase the bleachers, and the dump truck that we had could not pass inspection anymore. So we purchased a new dump truck, and with the old dump truck, we had a plow on it as well, because to save the district money, we actually plow central office, and we also plow the maintenance garage down there, as well as some of the other smaller areas. Like when the buses move, we plow all that, get that out. We plow the primary playground. So that's why we just did a complete replacement.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Other questions regarding the high school operations, Michelle?
In general, how are the conditions of the grounds, like where they left off? Like, for example, I know last spring, only because I had one who was in the sport, like he thought there was like a backhoe taken to the baseball field. And he was so mad that somebody came to like, he thought it was a competitive team, like another team that was like playing a prank. But
No.
I only asked that because like where are things generally at? Like the conditions of things going into the new,
Yeah, so like for instance, for that was just
like a freak of
a
nature moment?
freak of nature, yes. Never in my 20 years here have I ever seen that field in that condition. Hopefully we never do again, so that's why, like, you know, you kind of keep that, what's that? Yeah, it was just a freak sinkhole. I don't know if it's from just different weather related, you know, where we had so much rain last year and everything else.
So it's not like, that was just an oddity?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's never has happened. So when I got that video that day, I was like, oh my word. So, but that's why we keep that there. Why I hold it just in case something, and then in the end, we can go like this year, I had a chance to do the softball dugouts. I put new shingles on that. We put more money into the baseball field. Had a chance to do some groundwork around there. Added some more infield mix to the softball field and baseball field. You know, so yeah. Thank you.
Other questions regarding the high school?
That's it. Thank you.
Still have system-wide. Nice try, Wayne.
Nice try. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, system-wide. Line 737, salaries of the supervisor, contracted increase. Line 738 is salary of the custodians. That is, I had two, what do I have? One. There's 5 total. So, and then I have one for 2 hours during the summer. Line 739 is benefits of my benefits. Line 740 is benefits for the custodians. Again, we had transfers, people bumping around. That went down. Line 741 is my retirement. Line 742 is the retirement of the custodial staff, which is now gone, retired, or moved around the district. Line 743 is contracted professionals. For system-wide, that's again, would be Maine Fire, Siemens, yeah, same as all the rest of them. Line 744 is workshop professional training. That's to keep up the water license, 12 hours per year, trainings for that to stay in compliance. Line 745, water and sewer. We went down on that. Line 746 is waste removal. That's still contracted with Casella Waste. I'll be looking into that this next year. Line 747, snow removal with Jean Castonway's contract. That went up $500, which is great. Line 748, repairs and maintenance. That, again, that's for HVAC, security systems, custodial equipment down there, elevator, there's no elevators in that one, but motors and pumps. Line 749 is repair and maintenance of the building, plumbing, electrical, roof repairs, door locks, window shades, paint, flooring. Line 750 is lease of the copiers. That went down. Line 751, insurance for the building or grounds, increase of 25%. Line 752 is communication, phone lines. I adjusted that line. Line 753, general supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, cleaning supplies, went down. I noticed we didn't use as much down there for general supplies. Line 754, electricity, just a minimal up there. I shut Scott's lights off in his office more often. Line 755, heating oil. Now, heating oil was that was adjusted, so that was, yeah. I noticed that line has been a little skewed through the last few years, so. Line 756, equipment. So this line is more like custodial if we have anything that's broken, so custodial carts, vacuums, scrubbers, carpet extractors, winter equipment, like if we need salter or something like that. Yeah, just a cleaning equipment replacement. I went line 757, dues and fees, that's boiler license, water fees. I also take care of the shredding for the district as well out of that line.
Questions regarding system-wide operations?
Under snow removal, do you take bids for that, or do you
Yes,
just?
yeah. So
okay.
we take bids. That's usually, right now, we're under a 3-year contract with that, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Under contracted professional services, what is this, because I know the buildings all had their own, so what does this cover?
So this actually, system-wide is plant operation, so it's more or less central office.
Oh,
So
okay.
central office down there still has to have where adult ed is in there. We have to have modern pests come in because they use the kitchen. We also have fire extinguishers. We have to deal with also main fire comes in.
Okay, I forgot we had that
Yep, so
built in.
on and so forth. No, that's okay.
Okay. Communications, I assume, is the same, all the
Is
phones
phone
down there?
lines, yeah,
Okay.
it's all of,
Other questions regarding system-wide?
I'm off the hook.
You're done. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Debt service.
Crystal, you have the list over there.
This is the debts that we've had right along, plus the Phase 1 of Siemens, Phase 2 of Siemens, and then the new boiler, an estimate. We put in 74,679 as a payment on the first payment for the new boiler if it is approved.
Questions regarding debt service? And the contingency, Scott?
I mean, that's what we have in every year in case there's an emergency. Years ago, it was like 200 to 300,000. We've brought it down to 100, really for emergency purposes that we have every year. But luckily, we haven't had to spend it. That's the goal. And like I said, then it does carry over for the following year for undesignated money that we can then use to put back towards the budget.
Any questions regarding the contingency fund or any other questions regarding the budget as a whole that you might have had from the last time we met?
Yeah, because everybody's here to answer questions from the last time as well, so, yep.
I know we had some follow-up questions from last time. I had some about the high school athletics and the increase in equipment costs. I think it was 10,000. I got to find my page. Yeah. Could you answer those for me, please, and thank you? I think Jody had a question about that as well.
Jody? Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions in the athletic area as well.
I'm trying to find my page.
It is on page 17, Elaine.
I thank you, Jody.
Yeah. So Mark, I think one of the ones that I had in there was repairs and maintenance. You know, we're showing that we're wanting to increase, but our past expenditures is nowhere near. So wondering where and why that amount is what it is. I can't hear him. Is he on a mic?
Is that better? Okay.
Thank you.
So some of that money goes into things that come up. Like this year, we've done, we've had to pay for movement of Connex box. There's an addition in there that was not budgeted for last year. That was the helping to pay for the paint machine. We do have some projects around the facilities that need work. The tower down at the football field, the concrete block foundation is cracking. We need to get that repaired. We do have paint and different projects that we do around the building that some of it will take place. Some of it's at when it can be done, because, you know, sometimes I'll say to Wayne, this needs to be done, and it just can't be done at that point in time, so sometimes it gets pushed off to later in the year, or because of the spring, it doesn't get done at that point in time. So we do put that in there because there are things that pop up, and we do have projects planned.
So the increases for new projects, the reason why it's more was because of the paint machine, is that
Yes.
correct?
Well, the reason that it went up the 5,000 was because in the past we didn't have the paint machine, so we added that in for this year.
Okay, all right. And Elaine, I think you had mentioned, which was also on my list, is just general supplies. Was that your
Yep.
question, Elaine?
Yeah, 10,000 is a big increase. I know things are expensive, but could we have some more detail?
Sure. So last year, we put $10,000 into purchasing a mat with the middle school. So they paid $14,000, we paid $10,000. So because we had to put that in, then I bypassed 2 sets of uniforms, which I usually do on a 4 or 5 year basis. So now I have 4 sets of uniforms that I have to purchase. They roughly are $3,000 to $4,000 a set. And then there was some transfer of supplies for the drama program that was not within the extracurricular budget and is now in the extracurricular budget.
Okay, and what's your regular rotation of uniform replacement?
I usually do 2 uniform sets depending on like which group I'm working with. If it's a small group like a cross country, then I will add that in as a third in a year. But usually it's 2 teams a year, which usually gets us 4 or 5 years out of a set of uniforms. Football has not had a new set of uniforms. I've purchased some pants, but they've not had new jerseys since I've been here, and I've been here 9 years.
Yep. Good, that's good to know. My other question goes back to line 372, athletic stipends. And we were told that next year there'll be no Nordic, which makes me wicked sad. I would hope we can maybe, if there's any kids, we can look to combining them with other schools in the area. And I will go back to, we had a public comment earlier about esports being discontinued. Yeah, there's 7 kids. Those kids are really engaged in this. This is something that they may not be athletes, but this is also, we discovered and put it in because it's important to these kids. It keeps them engaged. What would be the cost of just the E-team stipend?
The E-team sports stipend, so that whole program is roughly $10,500.
That's with the stipend
That's
and
including the
equipment,
stipend.
but you've got game fees you have to pay.
Well, there's no game fees anymore. When
Oh,
it
good.
initially came out, there were game fees.
remember
Play
that.
VS would charge game fees, but they've gone away with that. But, you do need a controller here and there. Every year, we have to purchase part of the license. And then, the big thing is the stipend.
But it's not that big.
It's
Well, and I
about,
also, I told Mark and TJ they had to cut $20,000 out of the athletic budget because I thought it was high and we need to look at places that we can cut. What they do with it is up to them, and who knows, you could start next year and have 4 kids come out for soccer and you don't have soccer and you might have money for another program later on. So-
Yeah, I guess that, and looking at current, basketball, we've got a varsity coach, and we have a JV coach. That's it for basketball for both boys, girls. We've got track and field. How many kids do we have participating in track and field?
anywhere from 25 to 30.
And how many coaches do we have?
We have 3.
We need 3?
We had 4.
Do we need 3? I'm not trying to be
No,
difficult.
and
I
I
really am
understand
not.
it.
I want us to be able to engage as many kids as we can. It's not always athletics. This is a different kind of a sport.
Right.
We need to offer our kids as much as possible. So I'm asking you to be creative.
Right.
Please.
And understand, the last thing I want to do is cut programs for kids.
I know that, but
And you're talking to the chairman of the MPA Esports Committee, because we got into it right at the beginning, and I've sat as a chair for 4 years. So it's certainly not something I want to do. I've had conversations with the current esports coach about, so esports is 2 seasons. It's the fall and the
Right.
spring. So basically, they get a stipend for the fall and they get a stipend for the spring. So, the question is, can we just do 1 season? Can we, how can we try to fund this program? When you look at the cost per participant, that's well above anything else that we run. If we, like Mr. Albert said, if we have a point where, if I've only got 16 or so soccer players and I don't have enough for a JV, then there's a possibility of moving money around. But right now, that's just...
I hope we'll make that a priority, please, for the kids.
Mhm.
Thank you.
If I can just ask another question, sorry.
Go ahead,
So Mark, for your total line, I see that, your actuals for 25 are 273,000, and what you're budgeting is 331,000. So that's a $60,000 increase. I mean, I know people are looking at this difference, but I don't believe in the difference. I like to look at the actuals of 25 versus what our budget is. Why are we $60,000? Why is that budget asking for $60,000 more? Because cutting the Nordic team and esports, I just don't know why we went up $60,000 in a year.
Well, it's across everything. It's contracts, it's officials. Officials are getting paid $100 for doing a game plus travel. And depending on the sport, you're talking anywhere from 1 to 6 officials for an event. It's the cost of the uniforms, the increase in what I've got to purchase. It's the increase in basketballs. It's the increase in golf tees. It's, adding the paint machine in. It's, we transferred a little bit of money out of dues and fees. We cut some programs that we've had there. It's the, I'm not adding anything other than the wrestling program, which, every time they go to a tournament, it's $300 to $400 for that Saturday tournament. There's 6 or 7 of them a weekend. It's, addition of the coaching staff there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on this board and probably knows I'm all about sports, and I'm very clear. I just am questioning that, and I also, being a booster parent, and was a part of the boosters, know that the boosters definitely are willing to help this budget. I asked several times, can we buy soccer balls? Can we help get new uniforms? And I was told, no, that's the school's responsibility. And I left that soccer girls booster money with a lot of money when I left that position. So I think we might want to look to our boosters to help your budget if necessary as well.
I just want to clarify, sorry, I didn't mean to holler in this thing. So I just want to make sure I'm trying to follow Jody. So if you look at FY26 actual, that's what we're still in. So this is from December. So we still have January through June to spend in that actual. And then the next line over is FY26 adopted. And then the one way over to the right, FY27 draft, the whole budget is down $4,865.90. And I didn't know if someone's looking at FY25 actual and adopted.
Krista, I understand. So I look at actuals because that's what we spent. So in 25, the 25 actual is what we spent and for the whole year. And that was $273,000. So from 25 to what you're asking right now is 331. So that's an additional at least $60,000 from what was spent to what we're budgeting. And so I think very clearly in all these questions that I've been asking for these 2 meetings is that our budget, and I understand that we want to have a little bit of surplus in case something happens, but our budget numbers from actuals to what we're budgeting for this 27 are very weird in some categories. And this would be one of them. $60,000, it doesn't matter. In my mind, this is me. In my mind, it doesn't matter the difference because that's just a budget number to a budget number. I'm looking at what we actually spent and putting it into perspective of what actually should be in there. And I've said this on many lines. Maybe one line should be increased and some of these should be decreased because that actual number is showing what checks or whatever was actually written in these areas for 25. And I understand that the actual for 26, we still have 6 months left, but also a majority of our money potentially could have already been spent when we don't know that. So I'm just clarifying that I completely understand this budget, and that's what I'm looking at, is the actual from 25. I do not see any reason to be comparing a budget number to a new budget number. Because if you're not following a budget, what does it matter?
Questions for other things?
Does anybody else have any other questions regarding the budget as a whole? Jody, are you good?
So our next board meeting will also have budget involved in it. Okay, so you can ask questions there. We'll have a number to show you of what it means, at least with what we've proposed, what that means for the towns will have to pay percentage-wise, and then you guys will have to take a look and decide and make a motion that night to see where you want us to go, make a motion, and then everybody needs to vote on that dollar amount where you want us to go, because that will then give us a week after, because we'll probably should have that March 5th board meeting just on budget, okay, so that you can see, because we have to set the numbers that night, because when you come on the 12th, those numbers have to be set because you have to sign the warrants. It doesn't mean that come budget meeting time, we've taken money out before at budget meeting time. We prefer to have the numbers set, but when we get new information, like in the past, when we found out that health insurance wasn't as high, at that budget meeting, we took $100,000 out or whatever, but we really need to be moving in that direction. So between now and the next meeting, questions that you have, thoughts that you have about what direction you want us to go, and when you'll see what it is, the overall cost is to each towns, it'll make it a little bit easier for you to make that decision on which way you want to go. And then, like I said, I want the whole board to, somebody makes a motion, second, you have the discussion of where you want to go, and then you vote for us to then go back and do whatever we might need to do with the administrative team. And if it means adding money in, that would be fine too, but
If we have any suggestions on possible cuts, are you open to hearing them?
You can make suggestions at that meeting, but to be honest with you, it's the administrative team's job and my job to make those decisions cut-wise. It's your job to make the decisions money-wise. Okay? But we're not deaf. We're not deaf. We will listen.
Okay, you have your pink sheets with your co-curricular hires, new hires, resignations, retirements. The next President's Day is Monday and school vacation week. The next regular board meeting is February 26th, and there'll be a finance meeting at 5:30. With that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Danielle, where's the hand?